Hi, this is Slayer Knight Crafts. Actually, I'm Amber. Slayer Knight is just a nickname I've had for a while, so I just use it for everything. But yeah, I'm just Amber. I've been considering doing this video for a little while now. In all of the Facebook groups and things that I'm in, people are always asking about ways to inventory their supplies, the stamps, the dies, papers, everything that they have. And everybody has a ton of different suggestions. And I thought it might be fun to show you what I do and the applications that I use. So, for me, and 100%, I have to say right now, I can't take credit for what I use because I got the idea from It's Me, JD. So 100% credit goes to her. I took mine in a little different direction, not very different, but it was a really great solution that I could use on my computer, on my phone, on my iPad, and I really liked that fact. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, I have a couple things here that I've purchased, of course, because we're always purchasing things, right? And I've already got them put away in their little sleeves and all that stuff. But I keep the little backings here. I really do try to like immediately before I even open it, put it into my inventory. So that way I kind of force myself, like, you can't play with this until you put this in there. So the only reason these aren't in already is because I knew I wanted to do this video and I wanted things to put in. So I'm totally playing with them already. So, all right. So I have this information. Also, you're going to see that I have already looked up the items, the web pages. I didn't want you to like watch me search for it, but I'll kind of get into more detail about how I use that now. So why don't we start with the software that I use? So I use an app called Airtable. It is available on PC and Mac. And FYI, I have both a PC and Mac, so I've used it on those devices. The only device I don't have is Android, so I can't speak to how it works on Android. But it's worked fabulous for me on both, like I said, Windows, Mac, my iOS devices. And I have a free account with Airtable. I don't know if eventually I'd have to upgrade, but it's kind of expensive because like it's meant for like professional business-ish. My one suggestion to Airtable would be like, hey, people like to use this for their little fun hobbies and stuff. Maybe an intermediate plan would be good. Anyway, so here's my workspace, and so here are my Airtables, my bases. And I'm not going to dive into how to create a base because I think there's tons of tutorials and things out there for it. It's more just how I use this particular app to organize my stuff. So I have my tea, I keep track of my tea, and then here I've got my craft collection. So in here, you're going to see I've created a whole bunch of tables. I have my rubber stamps, my dies, embossing folders, embellishments, stencils, my Copic markers and things in here. So everything is in here for all of my items. And if you want to kind of take a look at what one of these looks like, one of these entries. So I've got the name. I'm super inconsistent on casing or whatever, because in all fairness, I copy and paste everything. So whatever, I don't really care. So I've got like the name of, like, for instance, my stamp here, manufacturer. I'll go into that a little bit later. I have a picture of the stamp here, and then I have themes. So I have a bunch of these themes that I've come up with for each of my, in this particular case, my stamps. and then the sentiments. And I type out each of the sentiments, and this makes it really easy to search for them. And that's part of the reason I do that. I also, whether or not it has a die, I have the web address. And oh, I can take away this note. I just recently got the die, so yay. Um, so I've got the web address here, and like I said, a little area here for any notes. I usually just keep this collapsed because that's comments, again, if you were working professionally and wanted to see comments or activities on how things have changed. But for our purposes, it's kind of not necessary. So yeah, so this is my my entry. It's pretty similar for everything else for my dies. Again, you've got a name, an image, a theme, manufacturer, URL. I have my embossing folders here. I don't have a lot of them. You can see like I have a bunch of old Cuttlebug ones. My embellishments are here as well. As you could, I'm still filling up because I wasn't originally putting URLs in, so I'm still filling kind of some of the stuff up. Some of my stencils and everything are here. And so yeah, so I've pretty much got everything here. My Cricut supplies, all my inks. Like I said, everything is organized here. Now, one thing I wanted to speak about, so every table can have a different set of fields. You can duplicate tables too. Like if you want pretty much the same thing in most cases, you can do that. You can make all different types of entries. You saw here, so this is like a single name. This I'll talk about a little bit later. This is an image. These are a multi-select where if I click here, I can see all the different options and select multiple ones. They can be color-coded or not. This is like a long form here. This is checking on and off. This is very specifically a web address. There's all different types that you can use. So however is comfortable for you to organize or to add these fields, it's totally up to you. It's complete freedom. It can just be overwhelming to start it yourself. So my recommendation is to add a few different things, different categories to start with. Like don't put your entire collection in there, and get comfortable with it and see how it feels. Because there's nothing worse than having a whole bunch of things in there and then decide you don't like the layout and how it works. And then having to update everything. Now, the one thing I wanted to call out was the manufacturer field. And I specifically wanted to call out this field because this actually is a link to another table, which is really cool. You can make, it can be multiple links, it can be a single link. And the reason I found this really helpful is that I found that I was putting in the manufacturer. Even if I put it as a multi-select, I still had to, for the first time, enter the manufacturer. So I created a table that is a list of all the different manufacturers that I could possibly have. And then in each one of my tables here, I create a, if I scroll to the side here, I create a column that links to the manufacturer's table. So for example, if I were to, you can see here, I gave up. I was like, these are all Cricut. But this is perfect because I can show you this. So if I go here, I can see all of the different records. So I can link to any record in this table. And what's really cool is I can just start typing and there's Cricut. And from here, I can actually create a new one. So let's see, I wanted Kirk for some reason. Add new record. And it would just simply give the record that name. I can go back later and I can fill in anything I want, but I can go ahead and create the manufacturer from here. But so I can select Cricut, and now that's updated. And the great part is I don't have to repeat the manufacturers over and over again for every table. So I just link it to that one table. And you could do that with multiple things. If you wanted themes or things like that to be associated, you could absolutely do that. And what's really cool is back in manufacturer, I can take a look. You can see my Gina K1 here. I have a place for URLs, but you're going to see like dyes, inks. You can see like where, stencils, you can actually see all the connections here. So if I wanted to see all the things I have from Gina K, like there's a lot of stuff here. So that's kind of cool. And you can see the Lawn Fawn one's pretty long too. But yeah, so this makes it really easy to kind of keep things organized in that way. So I wanted to show you how I input something into to one of my entries here, because this is the part that's probably the most intimidating for somebody, is to, you know, actually put stuff in. Nobody wants to do data entry. We want to craft, right? Nobody wants to do data entry. And so, like I said, I hold on to these. And what I do, I cheat at my data entry. I told you before, I'm not super careful about casing and things like that, just because I just want to get it in. And I think that's the most important thing to think about, is get the bare minimum information in there, because I can always go back and clean it up, but it's more overwhelming to put it in the first place once you've, like, you know, you started with like 5 and now you have 50, as opposed to just always having put them in. So there's that. So I actually have some dies, not rubber. Well, I do have some rubber stamps too, but so I have some dies that I purchased from Stamp Fever, which I was super happy to hear that they were doing delivery right now with everything going on. And so I got the grassy border die here from Lawn Fawn. So I'm going to create an entry in my table here for this die. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to click here. There's actually multiple ways to do it, but I'm just going to click here. And I'm going to go ahead and expand this. So you could just go all the way across the records, but I think this is going to be a little bit more clear. So this is an unnamed record, image, theme, all this other stuff. Well, I know the manufacturer is Lawn Fawn, so that's super easy. Now, what I did was I went on the Lawn Fawn website, found the item. So here I am simply going to copy the URL. I'm going to come back here and paste it in. And the main reason I do the URL is because, you know, I'm trying to get into making videos and things like that and blog posts. It's hard for me because I'm not the kind of person that does that stuff. But I wanted to make sure that I have URLs directly to these items so that if somebody happens to see something cool, they can be like, oh yeah, awesome. I totally want to do that. Or I want to get that item. So theme here, and theme, I mean, this is going to be absolutely subjective on like the kind of things that you're going to want to do here. I do try to, keep these, you know, sort of in line with how I keep them organized in real life, but, you know, doesn't always happen. So yeah, so I put, and you can see again, casing. So scene building, because this is like, you know, a little scene background. I could put other things here, like for example, I suppose I could like mark it with flowers, because you would kind of use flowers, grass, maybe springtime. What's awesome is you can have multiple ones. And once you create something, like if I call it my new thing, right? I can create a new one on the fly, and that's going to be available. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so now that's all easy. Now comes like the image part and name. So I'm super lazy, and I copy from the website and I paste the name in here. And now here's the image part, right? Because you're like, okay, well, I have to download the image, or I've got to take a picture with my camera. No, I don't do any of that stuff. I started that way, and then I was like, this is going to take too long. This is kind of annoying. So how can I make this easier on myself? So there's a couple different ways. Well, there's more than a couple different ways to get images in here. But the way I like to do it is, so most sites, as you can see, have like the images available. Let me accept that. And if I right click, I can open the image in a new tab. And there are two ways that I can now get this image in here. I can copy the URL, or I can simply copy the image, come back over here, and paste it in. And there we go. And it's going to upload that image. So it's uploading. And it'll take a minute to kind of update here because it is all synchronizing online. So that's something to keep in mind as well, is that this synchronizes with their servers. So every time you make an update, you know, when you go into another device or another computer, or there's also a web-based version, so you don't even have to install any apps, but that is going to update with all your information here. So now I have my grassy border. It's all like, I think it's in a particular order right now. What is it being sorted by right now? Let me just get rid of that. So I have my grassy border, the image is here, scene building, flowers, cool. So that's all really cool. So I got that one in. Now let's see about, let's do this one. I actually got this as like a bonus from ordering from a particular place. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So I did a search for it. And it turns out this one's retired. So what's interesting about this one is now I need to add a new field to my table. So let me kind of walk you through that. So currently, I don't have a way to denote that something is retired, right? Has a die, web address, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I need to add a field to this. So let's see, I'm gonna put it right here, right after this has a, no, actually I'm gonna put it after the web address. And so I can click on this little arrow here and I can insert a column to the left or the right. So I'm going to insert it to the right. And I'm going to put is retired. Put a question mark there. I like to put a question mark on those things just to remind me that these are yes or no answers. So I'm going to put a checkbox and hit save. So now I have this new field, is retired, meaning that I can go ahead and when I put this in, I can denote that this one's retired. This is not, you know, something I can get anymore. It's really super cute. And again, you're going to see the laziness. I'm just going to copy the name there and plop it in there. And so this is Sizzix, right? Okay, so the manufacturer, I can't talk today, is Sizzix. And the image, so okay. So this one is going to be a little interesting because I don't think I can directly, okay. So I'm going to hack this a little bit. I apologize if this is not something that people are going to feel super comfortable with. This is kind of a techie thing here, but you can't really stop me from doing this. Oh, even better. Okay, so I just made my, okay, let's get rid of this. Let's not be intimidated by that. But okay, we're gonna go into the mobile view. And when I right click on here, the save image is possible, and the open in a new tab. So I'm going to open the image in a new tab. Otherwise, I was actually going to go into the source code and find the source for the image and copy that, but I don't have to. All right, so I'm going to copy the image and come back here, attach file. And you could also, if they were on your computer, you could drag and drop them in here too. That's what's really cool. But here it's nice because it's just a copy paste. So I don't have to put a bunch of files on my computer and then upload them and then go back and clean them up and delete them because that's kind of a pain. All right, so this is uploading. Sweet. So that image is going to go up. So the theme on this one, I don't know, food, which I don't have. There we go. Brand new one. Let's see. Let me take a look at what else I have. Whimsical. I think this is whimsical. It has like fries with little happy face. And I'm going to do sweet treats because I feel like that's a theme. It, again, totally subjective. You can put whatever themes here you want. Notice there is a sentiment. So I am going to include the sentiment. And it has a die. So I'm going to include the die or include that checkbox as well. And if I go back here, even though it's retired, I want to be able to link to it just so that that information's available. And is retired my new field? Yes, it is. All right. So now I've got everything in here. I can close this out and you will see again. Why am I sorting this? Get rid of that. Yeah, so now I've got everything in here and you're going to see I've got my sentiments, I've got my theme, all that other good stuff. I have a couple more I need to put in, but I'm not going to make you watch me do that. I'll just do that later. But now that you've got everything in, okay, cool. So what, right? Like, how does this now help me? Because this view doesn't look super helpful. So here are some of the really cool things that you can do with Airtable. Now, I want you to keep in mind that some of these features are not available on the iOS or some of the mobile versions. So just keep that in mind. I think that on your iPad and your phone or any of your mobile devices, it's going to be good for you to look up really quick and like see what you have, like when you're out shopping, to make sure that you've got everything good. But when I'm like planning a card or something, I prefer to use the computer to kind of show, to see everything. So Airtable has views. And what's cool about views is there's different ways to view the data in your table. So you can see right now I'm in a grid view. I've created a couple different views here, and I want to show you what I've got here. The one that I find the most helpful is a gallery view. And here is the gallery view. What's nice about this is I can actually change the way this is displayed. Let me go ahead and make this bigger. We don't really need to see that stuff anymore. So I can see, well, you can see I took a picture here, but you can see that I have all of the images of all of my stamps here, readily available, easy to see. And I can click on one of these and then click through and see the image. So this makes it really easy when you're trying to plan something. You just kind of want to go through and see, okay, what do I have? And then the other one that I have, because when you create a view, you can put all these rules into that view. So I have one that is, and you can see this is going to be like instead of a list, really, it's going to be like these little cards. So I've got a coloring one, and these are ones that I've designated that I felt would be good for coloring. All right, so, well, how did I do that in the first place? Well, let's check out customize cards. So you can also have multiple images here. So my cover field is an image, right? And then I've got the stuff that I want to be able to see on this card is the manufacturer, the image, right? And then if you take a look at my filter, you're going to see where theme has any of, and I put coloring. So when I put coloring for a theme, this particular view shows it just like it does for the gallery, except it only shows things that are tagged coloring. So that's another way to use your themes like how you would use something. So for example, on this one, in the themes, I think birthday should be on here. You could create a view that's just everything that's birthday related. So you're going to make a birthday card, anything that falls into that particular category, and do those filters. And you can add multiple filters here, and you can filter on pretty much every field that you've placed in there. So you can see name, manufacturer, type, themes, sentiments, has die. You could put like everything that has a die, right? And you've got things like contains, does not contain. So if I wanted everything that is not birthday themed, like I very specifically just wanted something, but maybe I have a ton of birthday stuff and I'm like, look, I'm not doing a birthday card. I want to see everything else. I could put that the theme does not contain birthday and things like that. Or in places where something is empty or is not empty. That can be good if you are in the process of creating your inventory management and you're like, okay, I need to know everything that I have not added an image to, or everything that I have the URLs missing, or what have you. So there's all types of really cool things you can do on the filter there. The other one I have a little sentiments view. And what's cool about this, you're going to see 8 hidden fields. And the reason for that is because in this view, with every view, you can customize what is visible directly on the view. And I wanted to create a view that highlighted sentiments. So I could basically go through here and look for certain ones. And I can also search. So if I wanted to search for congratulations, right? It starts highlighting the ones that have congrats or not quite there. So I can start looking at those. I can see the images if I want to here. So, and you can see I can expand this out and it'll show me all the different ones here. Again, I can expand this and I can see the different sentiments. And that'll just make it easier if I'm looking for a particular sentiment to see if I've got something that reflects that. So that's a really cool part of Airtable. And it's where I really feel like it shines, is in the ability to organize your information in a way that makes sense. Another really cool feature here is the grouping. And why the grouping can be so awesome is because a lot of us like to participate in challenges, for different, whether it's like the Simon Says or Lawn Fanatics, all kinds of things, Gene K, what have you. And you can group things by any of your fields. So I'm going to group by manufacturer. What's awesome about this is if I am doing something for one of these manufacturers and I want to do one of their challenges, I can look to see, okay, so what do I have available in Lawn Fawn, right? Or my Pretty Pink Posh, what do I have that is that manufacturer? And by group, and again, you can group them by anything. Any of the fields. This just makes it super easy to kind of plan out what your next project might be for that. So that is the basics of Airtable. Hopefully this was helpful. The last thing that I did want to kind of do with everybody is just to give you a kind of idea of what this looks like. Sorry, I'm unlocking something here. What it looks like on the iPad, just so you can see what some of the different limitations and things are as well. So just to show you here, I have Airtable and it's up on my iPad right now. Again, you can see this is all the same information. So if I go into my craft collection here, I'm going to see if I look at my views, I don't have like the same views here, right? I can create views here. But what I'm not going to be able to do, for example, is like the gallery views and things like that. So it's a little bit of a shortcoming kind of the app, but it's really nice to be out somewhere, especially like, for example, my Copic markers. I know here, and I put little check marks to the ones I own, which ones are Chow, but I can put a wish list of my markers on here and just check like not own. And then I can filter, and I can add a filter on the, so on own, right? So I'm going to put, no, yeah, okay, not checked. There we go. And done. I don't happen to have anything currently in my wish list because things don't stay not owned for long. But this would show me a list of everything that I'm looking for. So when I go to the art store, it's really easy for me to just like open this on my phone, have this filter, and be ready to go and be like, oh, okay, here are the ones I need, and check stuff out. But again, all of my stuff is here. You can technically enter things in here. It's not like the easiest way to do it. I do happen to have an iPad Pro with the keyboard, so it's not as bad to put in. I still do prefer to, I do still prefer to use my computer when I can to put everything in. So that is my quick, probably not quick, this is probably pretty long, intro into Airtable and how I use it for keeping things organized. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and I'd be more than happy to respond back and help you out or give you any tips or tricks. Or if you have any tips or tricks for me, my organization is always evolving. I'm always looking for, a better way to do things and to improve upon it. So more than happy to hear your thoughts and ideas. Otherwise, thank you for joining me for this. This was so much fun. All right. Bye.